morning, everybody. Waiting for Mike to come into the studio here. He's always fashionably late. But we do have some breaking news. Before we even started the show today, we have news that the Cowboys, they went ahead and made a trade. They made a move. They acquired wide receiver George Pickens. It's like, who knew? Cowboys making moves early, doing some things that they didn't do last season. Looking forward to talking about that. A lot of upsets that we had in the NBA. A lot of the, let's say, road teams. 4 road teams won the first game of the 7-game series. That's never happened before. We'll talk about that. And Mike is bringing Chica in the studio. So I don't know if we're going to have her on camera or not, but that's the thing. What's up, Matt Gomez? Thanks for joining us. Hey, what's up, Sid? Thanks for joining, man. Healthy Dak, he says, good offensive core. Line being rebuilt. I'm here for it. Who knew? Los Pinche Cowboys are making moves, you know? Jerry Jones, that son of a bitch, he's actually doing something in the offseason right now. We them boys. Damn straight we them boys. The only thing is, let's go ahead and see what they do in the regular season. I still got hope. I hear a crack of the studio door here. What's up, man? Got 10 seconds to spare. You're not going to bring Chica in? Oh, okay. Never mind. She's like, I'm out. All right.
Welcome to another episode of the Area 210 podcast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast to you live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Area 210 podcast coming at you from the west side of San Antonio. That's right. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. We are on the west side off of Petrenko Road near Exit 7, Marbach Road area. What's going on, everybody? Cowboy fans are excited. Look at Joe. Joe typically at this point is wearing the MCS General Contracting cap. Today he's wearing the blue star. Because apparently, you them boys, I'm not going to say we, it's not me, but the Cowboys making a splash today. And already, Joe, people debating this on social media as to whether this was a good thing or a bad thing. Keep in mind, the Cowboys traded for Jonathan Mingo last year, right? A wide receiver that turned out to be a bust.
Yeah. And
they gave up draft capital for him. Everyone's saying after the draft, the Cowboys need to get a wide receiver. Get a wide receiver, right?
Do something.
Reportedly, according to Jane Slater of NFL Network, reportedly, the Cowboys wanted Ted McMillan of Arizona in the first round, but Carolina got him at number 8. Cowboys sitting there at 12. What did the Cowboys do? They sat there at 12 and hoped and prayed that he would drop to 12, and he didn't. They didn't move up to get their guy. Did they get a receiver? No. They went round after round after round. They got offensive guard rather. They got a couple of running backs later on, Jadon Blue being one of them. But the big question was, well, who the hell was going to be wide receiver 2?
And they didn't have one.
And I saw this post on Twitter yesterday asking the question, did the Cowboys have the worst wide receiver 2 because it was either going to be Jalen Tolbert or Kevontae Turpin or somebody like that? But no, wide receiver 2, out of nowhere, Cowboys making a trade, getting George Pickens out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of Cowboy fans are excited about this, Joe, because it might be a one-year rental. But Cowboy fans seem to be pretty excited about that. We're going to talk about the Cowboys, talk about the NBA playoffs, Tyrese Halliburton capping off a wild comeback for the Pacers yesterday.
He told the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton told the Cavs fan, they can thank D's nuts.
Yeah.
That was a big-time shot.
That was a big-time shot. It was also a big-time choke job on the other end. Cleveland Cavaliers now down 0-2. Dude, the road teams are 5-0 in the conference semis right now.
I went on record to say that the Cavs were overrated, and look at what happened.
Right.
Same thing happened with Houston. Overrated. OKC, overrated.
You might be right about all that. Now, here's the thing. The chip on the shoulder that Halliburton has right now, keep in mind his father probably not at that game yesterday because he acted a fool when they knocked out Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. The Athletic, the publication, The Athletic, which is owned by the New York Times, interviewed about 90 NBA players anonymously and asked the question, who is the most overrated player in the NBA? And they wholeheartedly, number one, said was Tyrese Halliburton. And look what he's doing right now in the playoffs.
He's making them eat crow. And the thing is that, getting back to Cowboy talk here, my friend always tells me every time the Cowboys make a touchdown, my best friend here, Ed Luna, shout out to Ed, he's just a couple blocks away from me. He always texts me and he says, "We dem boys, we making noise."
Yeah.
Well, we dem boys, we making noise today. Goddamn right. Jerry Jones actually did something. Imagine that. He's making moves in the offseason.
Now, but here's the thing, Joe. Who's the biggest Cowboy fan that we know? Maybe not the biggest Cowboy fan because there's a lot of them out there.
Elias,
but
Fernandez.
Who's the thesaurus? Who is the dictionary, the historian of the Dallas Cowboys that we know? RJ Ochoa.
Okay.
Blogging the boys. He's a big-time Dallas Cowboy fan. He's a historian. He's an analytics guy and all that stuff. The dude hates the trade.
RJ hates everything, dude.
So it's kind of interesting what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys right now, because you asked the question, they're making noise, right? And last year the Cowboys did absolutely nothing in the offseason, right? They had a dud of a draft, right? I mean, some good pieces, some bad pieces. But at the end of the day, they didn't do much of anything, right? They didn't sign any big names. They didn't do any big trades last year. But this year, they're actually doing some stuff. Kind of interesting. John Machota, Dallas Cowboys beat writer for The Athletic, posted earlier today that here's what the Cowboys have done this year. They've drafted Tyler Booker in the first round, right?
Yeah.
They got Shamar James, who's considered to be a very, very good potential steal in the draft. They got Jadon Blue. They got Phil Maffa. So they got two running backs now who are going to compete for RB1. They traded for George Pickens from the Steelers, and they traded for quarterback Joe Milton from the Patriots, who, I mean, a lot of people like him a lot, think that he has potential. And they also traded for two other players, linebacker Kenneth Murray and Kaiir Elam, the cornerback who played for the Buffalo Bills. That is 4 trades, Joe, that the Cowboys have done in recent days. They are making moves. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to be a good team, but at least we see the light is on. We see that there's a flicker on for that brand new head coach that they have. We now see that the Cowboys are trying to do something other than we like our guys. And I think that that's the disconnect that Cowboy fans have with people who are more historian-like RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys, is RJ Ochoa is looking at it from an analytics perspective, whereas I think Cowboy fans are in their feels right now. They don't like the fact that the Cowboys were 7-10 last year. They're in their feels right now because they're seeing, oh my God, the Eagles are Super Bowl champions. They're seeing the Commanders leapfrog over them because Jaden Daniels is so good. I think Cowboy fans were like, dude, just give us a lifeline. Give us some hope.
Yeah.
Give us some hope. And now you come out of the draft going, wow, we don't have a wide receiver too. Man, but now we got George Pickens.
And we got a running back.
And now we have Jadon Blue, who could be a good running back.
My boy Blue.
So now we look at it from a Dallas Cowboys fan perspective. Was it a smart thing to do? Probably not. But for this season, you guys can say it's our year. You guys can say we dem boys.
Yeah.
This might have made this team relevant again as far as playoffs are concerned. Not Super Bowl contenders.
Vamos para la Super Bowl, Mike.
But vamos a la playoffs first,
Vamos
yo.
para la Super Bowl. Super Bowl or bust.
Los playoffs.
You can't be talking. That's too ethnic. Now you get too ethnic. You're getting the Latinos coming out of you, man.
So George Pickens was a second-round draft pick back in 2022. The dude is 24 years old. He just turned 24. He is 6'3", played for the University of Georgia, and has had some pretty good seasons. Last season, he played 14 games, had 900 yards receiving.
We do have highlights of
let's see
the Cowboys' new wide receiver here. Let me go ahead and show him. I'm going to bring him up right now.
Now, back in 2023, George Pickens had 1,140 yards receiving. So this is a guy who...
Here are the highlights. This is your new wide receiver, Cowboy Nation.
I mean,
working on a losing...
Courtesy of the NFL Network.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a legit wide receiver, too. Somebody told me on Twitter today that he's actually a 1B or a 1A to CeeDee Lamb's 1. He's a very good wide receiver.
Brother's got some great hands, man. Look at that.
He's got some great hands. 6'3", can get some separation. He can find pay dirt from time to time. Now, the most touchdowns he ever had was a couple of seasons ago where he had 5 touchdowns. But back in 2023, Joe, he led the NFL in yards per reception. He had 1,140 yards receiving on only 63 catches. That was an average of 18.1 yards per reception, Joe. They now have a deep threat. They didn't do a carbon copy of CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb can now roam the middle.
Yeah.
You know, you have a player like a George Pickens that the defense has to respect and have him go deep, and all of a sudden things open up for a CeeDee Lamb.
You know, the only thing is, I respect wide receivers, and I respect them more when they can run damn good routes. And that's all we need. I think Pickens can run a damn good route, and he's going to actually open up that field for CeeDee Lamb,
Right.
like you said, to go ahead and work now.
So it's funny because we have Elias reaching out to us on our YouTube stream, which is powered, by the way, by MCS General Contracting, saying, Mike, you're the same one praising our current Spurs. This move is a good move. After an injury-ridden season, they're back in the mix. At least the playoffs will be possible. It can simultaneously be a good and bad move. It could be a good move short-term, bad move long-term. Right? But Cowboy fans needed to have some hope because last season, Joe, was the first time I'd ever seen Dallas Cowboy fans be so dejected. I mean, even when they went 1-15 back in the day and 3-13 back-to-back years, Cowboy fans were like, well, hey, man, at least we got top picks in the draft. The worst place to be is like 7-10, right? Because you're not bad enough to get a top pick, but you're not good enough to make the playoffs. You're somewhere in the middle. My Saints are in that situation. So you look at the Cowboys, it's a good move for the year 2025. But the problem that you see out there is that RJ Ochoa is like, well, my goodness, this is actually a bad move for future years because what do they give up? They gave up 2 draft picks from next season.
Yeah.
I know they picked up a 6th-rounder, but they gave up a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick. And if the Cowboys, for some reason, suck this year, that 3rd-round pick could be like number 75, number 80. I mean, if they're good, it might be pick 100. But for this year, it's a good move.
Yeah, maybe Jerry Jones had the Reaper pay him a visit. He knows that death's knocking on the door right now, so Jerry actually decided to do something. Maybe I want to see this team make a playoff berth and actually win before he passes on. I mean, Jerry's looking kind of old there, but I'm glad he at least did something this offseason compared to last season when he did nothing. Cowboy fans were really upset that nothing occurred, nothing happened. Now we have something to cheer for. Hopefully it's going to translate into more wins than we had last season. Maybe it'll get the Cowboys into a wild card or even further in the postseason.
The Cowboys want to be relevant, and last year they fell off relevancy. They became a joke in the NFL. And a lot of it had to do with Dak Prescott's injury. I get that. But when Cowboy fans stop caring anymore, when Cowboy fans tune out and say things like, we're not going to go to the games anymore, we're going to tune out, I think maybe Jerry and Steven heard that and actually made a move because of it. They were so arrogant, Joe, in the last couple of seasons, so arrogant to say that they weren't going to do certain things and that the fan base is doesn't know what they're talking about. It was crazy, man. And I know we have a super chat coming in from the Drew Show. $5 super chat says, buy a square. What will Pickens do? Will it be a DWI, a domestic abuse, drug arrest, a bust in the locker room? Is he going to slap a reporter, confront a reporter, suspension, homicide? Buy some squares is what he's saying. So I don't know what kind of track record he has. I know that George Pickens was involved in a case back in 2021. I'm looking at an article from SportsIllustrated.com, SI.com, saying that George Pickens is reportedly involved in a long history of misconduct when he was at University of Georgia. And it could be from a woman. It says the former Bulls linebacker who was a teammate was accused of rape. And somehow George Pickens, I don't know the rest of the story behind it all, but there was something that happened and Pickens was somehow put into the news mix when it comes to it all. Didn't say that he did anything.
Yeah.
But there was something that happened, allegedly, and Pickens may or may not have been there.
You know what I like? I like Spernandez always coming up with the catchphrases. He says, ripe for the pickings.
Right for the Pickens. So apparently, take that back. Pickens was the one who told on his teammate and implicated his teammate in that particular incident, saying that I didn't do it, he did it. So take that for what it's worth. But the Dallas Cowboys now have a roster, Joe. So, Joe, you are a Cowboy fan. You're wearing the hat right now, right? You're wearing the blue polo and all that stuff.
Yeah, even though they make me mad, they piss me off, I still love them.
Okay. So here's the thing. Now you're looking at a team that has Dak Prescott healthy coming back. You have a new offensive line. You know,
New coach.
A new coach.
New running
New
back.
offensive coordinator. Dallas Cowboys with a George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb combo. Scale of 1 through 10. How confident are you on that offense?
I'd say I'm about a solid 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah, because right now they're just unproven. They look good on paper. I just want to see how they're going to perform in the context of a regular season, right? But right now I'm excited, more excited than I was before. I didn't give them any hope.
Would
know?
you say that this is all going to hinge now on what the offensive line does? Now you got the three Tylers, right? Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Tyler Booker, Terrence Steele, Cooper Beebe. If they can hold up, the Cowboys might be able to win some games.
Fernandez, the summer of George. Hashtag Seinfeld.
So, I mean, Pickens is a very good player. He's a very good player. But the problem that the Cowboys have, Joe, is the inverse of what it normally was for the Cowboys in prior years. When they went back to back to back years at 12-5, what did the Cowboys say? Hey, man, we got the Commanders and we got the Giants. That's 4 easy wins, and then we move on, right? You know, we're going to go 5-1 in the division at the very least. But now you look at the Cowboys' schedule and you think to yourself, dude, those Eagle games are going to be rough. Those Commander games are going to be rough. They don't have that whole, the NFC East sucks, what they call the NFC least for many years.
Yeah, most abysmal division in all of football.
It's not like that anymore for the Cowboys. So the Cowboys
not
might
anymore.
theoretically could get better, but that might not translate to more wins. It might be a more exciting team to watch. They need better tight end play. That is what they need.
Look at Fernandez brings up a good topic of discussion here. He's saying, thank you for the chat too. I appreciate it, Fernandez. He says O-line got to be clutch, and they do because they got to give Dak some time to throw the damn ball. He can't be running for his life because the meat's gonna fall off the bone again. Dak is not mobile.
Right.
He's got to stay in the pocket. He needs targets. They got him 2 now, and he has a running back, so he has some options now. The Cowboys aren't going to be just a one-dimensional team. Means that they got room to work with now within the offense. But Fernandez is dead on right here. He's like, the O-line has to hold up. They got to protect Dak.
Guess what got released yesterday, Joe? The Dallas Cowboys schedule. Now,
Yep.
It's not saying what date they're playing, at what time they're playing, but we do know who the Cowboys are playing. So, obviously, because they play in the NFC East, they have a home game against the Giants, the Eagles, and the Commanders. Going into Jerry World this year, Joe, can I interest you in a game involving the Green Bay Packers?
Ugh.
Jordan
Packers
Love coming
notoriously
to
have
town.
had the Cowboys number, man.
In that stadium.
Yep.
In that stadium.
They owned them, dude.
Kansas City Chiefs, Pat Mahomes is coming to town. Justin Herbert and the LA Chargers are coming to town. The Minnesota Vikings are going to Dallas, and so are the Arizona Cardinals. So the Cowboys have 8 home games. Cowboys, though, have 9 road games. So they already start off the season with 8 home games and 9 road games because it's a 17-game schedule, right? So
Yeah.
some years you have 9 home games, some years you have 9 road games. This is a 9 road game season. Obviously, Commanders, Eagles, Giants. Cowboys on the road have the Bears, the Broncos, the Lions, Raiders, Jets, and Panthers. Some easy ones, some hard ones. Cowboys need to get to 10 wins if they want to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they do.
So what's the over-under, Joe, on the Cowboys' victories right now?
I'd say they're probably going to be at least 3 games above 500.
Well, according to this was before the trade.
Yeah.
The over/under was 7.5. Basically, what they did last year.
I think they're a much better team than they were last year.
That's a tough. I mean, they got the Chiefs, they've got the Bears, they've got the Lions. They've got some tough games coming up.
Cowboys are enigma though because they can play great against some of the better teams for a little stretch there,
Right.
and then the wheels have fallen off. But now they have a better team, so I think they're going to be able to keep up with some of the better teams in the NFL. Now, will it be good enough to best said teams? Who knows? But anything can happen because one thing that we don't factor in too, for these opposing teams that the Cowboys are going to face that are quite good, injuries. Who's going to be injured on any
Right.
given day? And any given Sunday, anything can happen, man. So
Well,
who knows?
I'm looking at right now at the Vegas Insider. The Cowboys at plus 7.5 victories is now a minus 120 bet, which means more people are betting the over
yeah.
than the under. According to Vegas Insider, and this is through DraftKings and Caesars Palace, the Bills, Eagles, and Chiefs and the Ravens have the highest over/under when it comes to win total at 11.5. Houston Texans are at 8.5. Only 6 teams right now are projected to have more than 10 wins. The Niners and the Lions are the 2 other teams that are north of 10.
Look at this, Tavares says. Cowboys are not even better than the Eagles and Commanders.
And that's the thing.
On paper, that's what everybody thinks, right? They're not better than the Eagles. They're not better than the Commanders. Eagles lost a ton of their players this offseason.
But they reload, baby.
They reload.
They reload.
They reload. And you know what? The Eagles are always going to be that team that's going to be the favorite to win the division. And Commanders, they look great. I'm not discounting what they were able to do in the prior season. You know, unfortunately, they didn't get to go all the way. But they did. They made some great strides. But now that the Cowboys have kind of reloaded as well, who's to say they're not better than the Commanders or the Eagles? We don't know yet because
Right.
they're unproven.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So why did RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys hate the move? He hated the move because he hated the third-round pick going away. He basically says, you're going to get a third-round pick in the NFL is a starter. That's not a project, right? The projects are the 5th and 6th round guys. The 7th round guys. Mr. Irrelevant is a project, right? Your studs are in the first 2 rounds. Your starters are in rounds 3 and 4. And then 5, 6, and 7, you hope and pray.
Yeah.
Right? So to give up a 3rd-round draft pick and a 5th rounder, I know they got a 6th rounder in return, but to give up a 3rd and 5th rounder for what could be a 1-year rental because Pickens is a free agent at the end of this
The
season.
Dallas Cowboys just traded for.
So that's the rub. That's the rub because, okay, you want George Pickens. Guess what? What do you think that guy's worth? $20 million a year? $18 million a year, maybe? He's not the CeeDee Lamb $30 million guy. He's not Justin Jefferson. He's not Jamar Chase. But he's probably in the range of about 20 to 24 million, 18 to 24 million.
Who do you pick, him or you keep him or Micah Parsons?
I mean, you got to pay Micah at some point. They haven't paid him yet.
They haven't extended him.
Dak got his bag. CD got his bag.
Yep.
They've let other players go. This could be a 1-year rental. This could be a 1-year rental. We could be sitting here 11 months from now, Joe, going into the NFL draft. Cowboys get 9, 10 victories, get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. They go into this draft. It's like, thanks, George Pickens. We're not going to re-sign you because you cost too much. And now the Cowboys don't have a 3rd rounder. They don't have the top of day 2. Or the bottom of day 2, rather.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I understand it. So Rafa is saying that if Pickens leaves after 2025, Dallas will get a compensatory pick in the 4th round. But, I mean, it's the end of the 4th round, so it may as well be a 5th rounder.
Does Mike know football or is he just rambling?
Hey, you want to put your money down on fantasy football? We'll see who wins. It ain't going to be you.
Hey, speaking of bets, last night we made a bet in our private chat talk right here, right? So,
Yeah, okay, so I turned off my phone for a minute, then I turned it back on. There was like 87 messages.
So me and Elias, we made a bet here privately, and I'm gonna make it public now. And I said, because I was talking about the San Antonio Spurs, right?
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, they're gonna make the playoffs or whatever. They're confident. He's confident they're gonna make the playoffs." I'm like, "You're running it back again, Elias." And I was like, "It's if it's gonna run it, but they're gonna run it back again with the same squad. You got a healthy Wemby, you got a healthy Fox, Castle, and all that. They can make the play-in. Cool. Are they gonna make the actual playoffs? I don't think so." And I told him I'm so confident that I'll bet you if the San Antonio Spurs do make the playoffs, I'll come in here and I'll do a whole episode of the Area 210 podcast with my face painted Fiesta colors. So I told Elias, "Well, what are you going to do, Elias, if the San Antonio Spurs don't make the playoffs?" I told him he's going to have to wear the face paint with a T-shirt that says "Joe was right."
Okay.
If they don't make the playoffs.
I'm not trying to be a homer about it, Joe, but we'll address Drew's show, which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah.
This que lástima. LOL. Look who Jerry. It says, look who Jerry has won back. All of y'all who declared Sancha teams, putting on hats, scheduling trips.
I still have my Sancha team. I didn't let him go. I still claim the Houston Texans as my Texans as my Sancha team.
That is funny.
Nothing wrong with rooting for the Texans. They're in a whole different division.
That is funny. So let's talk about the Spurs for a second here, because we talked yesterday about. Oh, by the way, before we do that though, we had a poll on Twitter asking the question: give this a letter grade. The Cowboys' move of George Pickens for a 3rd and 5th rounder. An A, B, C, D, or F. 43% of Cowboy fans give it an A. 36% a B. 8% a C, and only D give it a failing grade of either a D or F. 61 votes in the past hour.
I'm looking for that poll too. I have it here.
We're gonna have
There
another.
we go.
Okay, go ahead.
No, we got it here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull that up now. Here it is.
So give it a grade, Joe. Give it
I'll
a grade.
go ahead and give it an A.
Look at that. Already 80 votes now. Votes are coming in, Joe. Actually, it's 61 votes on that one. We have 80 votes already in another poll that I have. And we're going to address this later on in the show, Joe, because Chica and I drove in from Conroe last night. We're going to go see Jelly Roll and Post Malone over at the Alamo Dome tonight. We're going to be here again tomorrow. I'll be back on Friday, and I'll be here on Sunday as well in San Antonio. So the thing about it is this, Joe, is that we got into town around 11:30 at night, and she was like, "I want a taco." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
But like taquerias are closed. Correct me if I'm wrong. Taquerias close, right? The only ones that are open are the fast food type places, right? So I asked the question on Twitter. Already an 80 votes coming in. We'll talk about this later, but choose your fighter. What is your go-to Mexican restaurant after midnight? Is it Chacho's, Las Palapas, Mama Margie's, or Taco Palenque?
Let's go ahead and see.
Well, already 80 votes in. We'll address that one later. We'll have a little fun conversation about that.
Okay.
But going on to the Spurs, you are saying, Joe, based on our private chat that we have, that you have revealed to be public now, that you believe that if the Spurs simply ran it back with De'Aaron Fox, hopefully an improved and healthy Wemby, hopefully an improved Stephon Castle, that if they just added a couple of pieces and no major pieces, you think that the Spurs will be a play-in team, but you don't think that they're going to be a playoff team. Okay. So we did this whole thing earlier in the season where we look at the teams. We're not going to be better than Oklahoma City as constituted right now. If we roll it back.
You're not better than Oklahoma. No, definitely not.
Not better than Houston.
No.
Not better than Denver.
No.
I can make an argument, Joe. That best case scenario for the Spurs if they ran it back. I'm not saying they're going to do this. But I'm saying best case scenario is they're the 4 seed.
Are they better than the Warriors?
Yes.
No, they're not.
Steph Curry's Father Time is undefeated.
The Warriors just beat the Houston Rockets, who were the most physical team in the NBA playoffs, right? Thus far. The Warriors shown that they can be a physical team, too, in the playoffs. You're believing in this San Antonio Spurs team when they've shown you that they're going to roll over and show you their bellies when they get pushed.
This is the end of the line for the
No, this team's still soft, Mike.
No. We're talking about the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the run that we're watching right now, them beating the Houston, the 7-2 matchup, they defeat the number 2 seed Houston Rockets because they say, hey, we have experience, right? They took them to 7, they won in 7. Right now they're going off and they've taken the lead in round 2. What I'm saying is that this is the last stand for the Golden State Warriors. This will never happen again. No. You can say bye to Klay Thompson isn't there anymore. You're going to say bye to this team because next year Steph Curry will be 38 and Draymond Green will be 36. Dude, are they going to get better or worse next year, Joe?
Who knows? They can get better.
No, they're not going to get better.
Get better. You know
Curry's 38.
Did you watch the game yesterday?
I watched part of it.
The Warriors, without Steph Curry, because he got injured, he had a hamstring injury, they were able to go ahead and best the Timberwolves handedly because they had other, let's say, other people contribute, right? Other players contribute. It wasn't even close, man. I'm looking at this Timberwolves team, and I'm looking at this Warriors team, and you would think on paper Timberwolves would be able to dispatch the Warriors handedly because they're a little older. That was not the case. The Warriors were more physical. They were getting after it. They're getting the 50-50 ball, getting those rebounds, and they were just playing good all-around fundamental basketball. That's how they were able to beat the Timberwolves. Timberwolves couldn't hit nothing.
Joe, you're telling
me
that this team is going to get better next year when their 3 best players are 38, 36, and 36.
Yeah, they could get better.
No, Father Time undefeated.
Oh God, Mike, no.
Father Time
and you're
undefeated.
You're gonna tell me that the Spurs are better than the Warriors. You're high.
No, what I'm saying is that the Warriors are here, the Spurs are up here. We're going upward, they're going downward. At some point, we're going to pass them. How are they going
upward? How?
We haven't seen the experiment with De'Aaron Fox out there. We haven't. Okay, De'Aaron Fox is going to make the team better. He only played with the team for 17 games, and half of them were without Wemby.
Even when he played, they were still soft. Him and Wemby.
They were without Wemby. Wemby missed more games.
When him and Wemby played together, and it was early on,
they didn't even know each other's names, Joe.
Doesn't matter.
They didn't. Yes,
soft.
It does matter, Joe. You make it sound like
soft.
training camp doesn't matter.
They're gonna be soft, Mike.
You make it sound like training camp doesn't matter. You make it sound like rapport doesn't matter. Them going and meeting each other on road trips.
What's Wemby done so far in the
offseason? Joe. You need to have a team come together and meld together. Yeah. And you can't just get 5 players out there. You know how you know that, Joe? Proof positive was that gold medal that Argentina won with Manu Ginobili.
You're going to have to get on the bed with this.
Who was better? Manu Ginobili with Fabricio Alberto and Luis Scola and all those guys? Or was it LeBron James, Tim Duncan, Allen Iverson, and all that stuff?
So now you're on the Mitch we trust bandwagon.
What I'm saying is that we don't know what we got. You can't make a judgment because we don't know what De'Aaron Fox is going to bring.
I've seen enough of this team. I'm telling you, they're going to probably be good enough.
You saw 7 games with De'Aaron Fox.
They're going to probably be good enough to get a play-in.
Wemby played what? 7 games with De'Aaron Fox.
Mike,
he played 7.
He played contention team.
I'm not saying that the back half of the roster is good. Yeah. What I'm saying is that rapport matters. Why are the Warriors so good? Because they've been playing together for so many years together, right? They know what they're doing. They can. The
Warriors have guys can knock down buckets, Mike.
I get that, but they know where they're going. Kuminga's been on that team for so long. Looney and all that, and I know they've added in Buddy Hield and
who's a bucket getter on the Spurs?
Dude, Joe, what I'm saying is that we don't know what the team is going to look like with De'Aaron Fox out there. We got a taste of it. We got a taste, like the movie The Town. We got the taste, right? Mm-hmm. But we're going to judge Wemby and Fox off of 7 games that they played together when they had never played in a mid-season stride on a rodeo road trip?
I'm glad we got this tape right now.
Come on, man.
I'm glad we got this tape right now.
Oh, my God, Fernandez. God, Joe, he says, I'm never going to forgive you for making me agree with Mike.
Yeah. Y'all can agree with Mike all you want, but they just soft. This team is soft, man. I'm just telling you. You've seen what happens. The further you get, like you get into a play-in.
Mike is like the Lululemon he wears, soft.
Yeah, everything gets amped up. Physicality gets amped up.
That I'll agree with. Okay, so there's 2 parts, Joe, because you didn't ask the question, are the Spurs going to make a run in the playoffs? You asked the question, are the Spurs going to make the playoffs?
Yeah,
I'm looking at this standings. And I'm looking at Oklahoma City. Yeah, going to be better than the Spurs unless the Spurs get a big name. Rockets going to be better. The Lakers, I mean, 41-year-old LeBron at some point has got to catch up. He's not playing as well as he used to. He's still a good player. Luka doesn't play defense. The Nuggets, Okay, they're a good team. They have the experience. The Clippers, they fall. They live and die by Kawhi. Can you live and die by Kawhi?
Yeah, we got an incoming super chat from Jason Garcia.
You know what? You want the chancla? $3 more, dude.
No,
No.
He's
You're gonna call it.
It's not the grito.
I got hit there. Okay, Sacramento Kings. Are they going to be better? F the Kings. The Mavericks, they suck. The Suns suck. The Trailblazers suck. The Pelicans suck. The Jazz suck. I'm saying is that it's ripe for the Spurs to make a way up to like 5 or 6.
No, bro.
It's very possible.
No.
Team is healthy. Just as okay, you have a team with Fox, Castle, good player, still in his prime. Castle, second year, getting better. Hopefully he doesn't have a sophomore slump. Wemby, hopefully he's healthy and getting better. Harrison Barnes, a Toyota Corolla. Okay. Now we need a big man. Okay, let's say we go off and get a Nas Reed or something like that. If that's the case, Joe.
He's injured, by the way, right now.
So he's not needed till October. Not needed till October.
Thick 6.
And Joe. When we add Dylan Harper to the team, when we get the number 2 pick in the draft. Trying to manifest it.
Yeah, you can try to manifest it all you want, but how are you going to take the softness out of the charming? You're not. This team's soft as fuck, dude. That's what I'm telling you. There ain't no nasty out of this out of this silver and black team.
You know what, Joe? I have faith.
Now you can have all the faith you want.
I have faith in Castle being a better
player.
player.
You have so much faith. What's your bet? Because we already told you what me and Elias are going to do.
Ooh.
If you're so confident they're going to make the playoffs, what's your bet?
I only do money bets, dude. I don't do bets where I'm going to try to embarrass myself.
Well, what's your money bet? What do you want to bet? Last time I bet, remember when we were going against Leja and the Astros?
Yeah.
And we said if the Texans went on, the Rangers, should I say, the Rangers went on to the Super Bowl, we bet a case of Modelo.
Yeah.
What do you want to bet?
I like betting booze.
All right. What do you want to bet?
It can't be a cheap booze.
I'm not saying it. You know what? Maybe I'll buy you some Balcones. The baby blue, my favorite whiskey.
Yeah.
Bourbon. It's very good. It's about $70-something a bottle.
Right around that range. I'll get to Skull vodka.
Okay.
The nice one. I like the Skull vodka. It's pretty good. Or I'll give you a vodka of your choice. We have 2 super chats coming on in.
Okay, coming from
Drew Show says, Will Hardy was available. If you really wanted to F those picks, he just signed an extension yesterday. Now Mike defend Mitch over Will Hardy and number 1 pick. I don't think you can trade picks like that anymore. Maybe you can, but they weren't going to do that.
We got another incoming.
Will Hardy was liked by the Jazz. In fact, I was watching something yesterday online where they were talking about how the Jazz and Will Hardy, again, led them to a losing record. What did they do? They re-upped him, right? Because they believe in him. They believe in stability. They believe in the direction the team is going. Will Hardy was not going to come to San Antonio.
And here's another incoming super chat.
Yeah, Sam Salinas comes out on our chat powered by MCS General Contracting saying the Spurs have a bench that's marginally better.
What happened?
The bench keeps them down. Best case scenario is a 7th seed, another chunkla. Hey, 7th seed is what? That's the best in the play-in, right?
Hey, he paid $5 for the chunkla. There you go.
Right. Okay, how about this for a bet, Joe? How about this for a bet?
Okay.
If I'm wrong about this, we'll have an event over at Pete's Place or something like that, and you can actually throw a chunkla at me.
I'm going to put that chunk. I'm going to smear it in dog shit and then hit you with it.
No, we're talking about chunkla. Do you ever have weird dreams, Joe?
God.
Do you ever have weird sports dreams?
What are you talking about, bro?
Oh, I'm thinking about like the dream I had last night.
Oh, God. Well, look, we got to address this incoming super chat here from Midtown, Texas. We do appreciate you, man. Thank you all so much for the super chats.
Okay, so what does it say?
He says, we will pull together $300 in the chat to bet against.
$300. Interesting. A chocolate dunking booth.
They're going to bet against you, Mike. $300 to bet against. Hey, I like that. The chocolate dunking booth, I like that a lot. Maybe we put Mike up there and we earn money for a charity.
Rafa, I don't mind that. Rafa saying try El Mexicano for tacos on I-10 and what?
What did he say? Where was it? Let me go
Demon
back.
Mike intro music. Off of I-10, he says El Mexicano. Dude, I know this is not in San Antonio, but dude, the tacos at El Guacamole on Highway 90 and Montgomery Road going out towards Castroville, dude, bomb. Those are killer tacos, dude.
Demon Mike intro music. I'm telling you, man, we have the Chancla dunking booth. We have the Chancla. We get the dunking booth. We raise money for a charity.
You know what? This is how we do it. We add it to what's going on with Mike Taylor for the Salvation Army.
No.
Do it for the CADs,
Okay.
as he likes to
There
say.
you go. Oh, look at we do have another incoming super chat from the Drew Show. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, Drew, thank you so much for the support. It says letting Pop decide and not taking interviews for the head coach has consequences. Like no Real Hardy for one of them, F them picks, 2 chunkless. He wants it twice. The Chancla is making a grand appearance today.
Everybody likes the Chancla for some reason, man. You got one chunk.
Oh my goodness, Joe. Spurs played pretty well with Fox out there, even though he didn't know anyone's name.
Look, Mike had a sports wet dream that he won.
Okay, so someone interpret this for me.
The Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
Someone interpret this for me. This was my dream last night. Why I dreamt this, I don't know, because there was nothing that made me come up with this idea. I drove in last night. Chica and I drove in from Conroe to San Antonio. We're staying with my sister for a couple of days. I had a dream, a very vivid dream, that I was at spring training for baseball. I don't say that I was a player or anything like that. I don't know what I was doing, but I was on the mound. And remember Joe Negro,
Jeez, man.
the baseball player who has he died?
I
Joe
think
Negro died in 2006.
I was gonna say he died a while back.
Well, the truckers died 19 years ago, and he shows up in my dream last night. Joe
Field of Dreams.
Joe Negro is showing me how to throw a knuckleball. He goes, put your 2 fingers right here, the other 2 fingers, and you just throw it. And then I remember in the dream I interviewed him going, man, how is it so possible that sometimes it's unstoppable, but then other times you get lit up like crazy, man, like a Christmas tree. You know, they have 5 or 6 homers off for you, but there's sometimes you get 12 strikeouts. Like, why is it good one day and bad another day? And then I woke up. And then you hear, ang, 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 my alarm go off. For some reason, Joe Negro, former Astros pitcher, appeared in my dream last night.
He died a while back, Mike.
Yeah, it's Fernandez saying we got to do our own thing. No offense to Mike Taylor. Well, Mike Taylor's invited us to his stuff in the past, so that's cool. Taylor's a good guy, man.
But look at that. I like it. Look at Fernandez, man. He's quick with it too. He says, Chancla Dunking Booth, sponsored by Fuerte Productions to raise money for charity. Let's
All right,
do
what
it.
kind of charity can we do this for?
Well, we got to think about it, man. You know, one of the things that I really do like is I get behind Casa. Casa does a lot of charity work for kids who have been abused, you know? And they also help like single mothers who have, had domestic violence brought up against them.
Oh, Casa. Yeah.
I really do like Casa and everything that they do for the community because they can help so many impoverished families, and that includes the children, you know? So that's something that I'm really getting behind.
Drew Show blessing us again with another $5 super chat. Yeah, Casa does a fantastic job. I am aware of them. They do a good job. Another super chat coming in from Drew Show. It hasn't populated in here.
Mike lay next to his girl dreaming about dudes.
You know, if it's a sports dream, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, I'm hoping Chica's not watching this, dude, because damn.
So
All right.
Drew Show coming out and saying,
Thanks, Drew.
Mike, you can let the coach out of a contract for a number 1 pick. Stop capping. It's allowed. Now defend Mitch over Will Hardy and a number 1 pick. Okay. Well, first of all, why would somebody trade for a coach? I mean, I know it's been done in the past in various leagues, right? I think Doc Rivers might have been traded for a pick at some point. The fact of the matter is that Will Hardy is a decent coach.
No.
Okay? But he's already laid roots over there in Utah, right? They like him so much they're extending him. So it's kind of like saying, why won't you date this one person who's already taken? They're already taken, man. Will Hardy has a chica. Will Hardy, 37 years old, signed an extension, a multi-year extension. He was already there for 3 years. He had an 85 and 161 record. Imagine if the Spurs had gotten Will Hardy, right? 3 years experience. And we go, okay, well, here's what we think. We think he's really good. What was his record in Utah? Well, he was 85 and 161. So you're telling me that Spurs fans would have gotten excited about that?
No.
No. So why would we trade a pick for that?
Yeah. Well, Spurs fans are excited about Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch's record is what?
He hadn't gotten one single win
0-0.
All those wins went to Coach Pop.
Yeah, which is stupid. Because there was that one year that Steve Kerr missed, and all these wins went to his direction. Luke Walton, I believe, was the coach.
I'm going to get 2 shirts made, one for you
and
one for Fernandez. I'm going to probably see if I can get both of you all to go to a game together.
Yeah.
And the shirts are going to say, "In Mitch we trust."
In Mitch we trust. I'm fine with that.
You're on that Mitch bandwagon right now.
Dude, I'm looking at this contract by Will Hardy. Not only did they give him an extension, you know how long that extension's for, Joe? Till 2031.
God.
They like who they got. Danny Ainge likes who he's got. But no, I am excited about the Mitch Johnson era. I am kind of pissed off that somebody has a Twitter handle called Bitch Johnson, where they're ragging on somebody who hasn't been given a chance yet.
Look at that, Fernandez. And Mitch we trust.
You know what, Fernandez? You and me, baby.
And on the back of the shirt, it says, "If it ain't right, it's wrong."
You know, somebody got mad at me about that on social media yesterday on Twitter because I said, should we give flowers to Brian Wright? All I said was, I'm highly critical of Brian Wright. I've criticized him for a long, long time, but I cannot find anything wrong that he's done the last 12 months. Like, he batted 1,000 the last 12 months.
Yeah.
He might have wet the bed in prior years, but if we're going to say that we're going to, that he is sucked those years, the years that he does good, we have to give him some flowers. So much so, Joe, did you know that the executive of the year was announced yesterday in the NBA?
I did see that.
Former Spur assistant GM Sam Presti of Oklahoma City Thunder won executive of the year.
No surprise.
Guess who got a vote?
I saw who got a vote.
Who
Mitch,
got a vote?
You got Brian Wright. He got one third place vote.
He did.
One.
He got one.
And he was robbed. That's what Fernandez said, our good friend here. He said he was robbed.
Do you know, somebody asked me yesterday to make a bold prediction. I'm going to make a bold prediction. The bold prediction I'm going to make is Brian Wright's going to be in the top 3 for Executive of the Year award next season.
Think so?
Yeah.
Well, maybe he'll finally go ahead and win.
Not going to say he's going to win it. Give me top 3.
Maybe he'll win. Who knows? But I know Fernandez and you will be thrilled because Fernandez, man, I like his enthusiasm. He's our boy, man. And he's always positive. He always has a positive spin on the season, no matter how dire it gets. That's the one thing that I like about him. And, he's always saying, "In Mitch we trust," and if it ain't right, it's wrong. So he would be thrilled, too.
It's weird that we are on the same page right now, but...
Look at this, man. I like this. This was funny. They had me laughing here. They put that...
Mitch Chorizo.
Me chorizo. Midtown Texas, man. You guys are nuts, dude. Look at this. We got an incoming super chat. We got 2 that we need to address here. This one's from the Drew Show.
Yeah, it says, that's what I thought. You didn't defend it. You didn't even know he was available. Of course you know Will Hardy was available. Will Hardy wasn't going to be here. Becky Hammond wasn't going to be here. And he says, you're not plugged in. Go buy some tacos. Dude, just because somebody's a quote-unquote available, as in they're out of contract, doesn't necessarily mean that they're available. Okay? It just means that they are out of contract, right? Give you an example. De'Aaron Fox is not unavailable, right? He's at the end of his deal. He's not available. He's got a team, right? He's got a team. He's already had a commitment signed, and things are in place. This wasn't the whole signing of Will Hardy, the extension to 2031. If you're going to extend somebody for 5 years, not just 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, for 5 years,
it's a long time.
That has been in the works for a long time. They didn't just roll up on him and go, "Hey, Will, man, you're out of contract. Here's a 5-year deal. You want it?" Mm-hmm. That's been in the making for a long, long time.
We got another incoming super chat too from Jason Garcia over in Portland.
He goes, and the dude in his dream has a big black. Oh my God,
BBD.
Have you tasted it yet, Joe?
No.
You haven't had a taste of the big black dick?
Nope.
Man.
Nope. Now look at that, Fernandez. If it ain't right, it's wrong.
Yeah.
There you go. Rafa. Enthusiasts we trust. We need to get with Rafa because Rafa won a Texican hat. We need to give that to him.
Dude, speaking of the Texican hat, I wore the Texican hat when I was in Jamaica with Chica, and she loved it. She looked at my hat and goes, "Dude, I like that hat." I was like, "Oh, I know the person who makes this hat. The Texan hat. It's a good look, man. It's a good look."
Monticello, these guys never shot at 45 through 70.
Nice.
And it says, Tavares, if we get Giannis or Durant and in the playoffs.
We're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, dude, who's in the playoffs right now? By the way, before we go into the NBA talk, because we got to talk about the Pacers and what they did yesterday, let's show me some love. Let's flip the script and show me some love. My number is 210-508-0369. Again, that's my cell phone number. It's been my cell phone number since I was 17 years old, 31 years ago.
17 old.
Seriously, man. I do financial services. This is my commercial for myself. I do investments.
I like the slide, but you don't like the slides. So.
Yeah, that's an old photo.
Yeah.
I do investments. I do insurances. So if you have questions about retirement planning, questions about life insurance, man, I've done like 10 life insurance policies in the last month. Disability, long-term care. We're also dipping our toes into auto and homeowners insurance. Progressive, Allstate, Nationwide, Travelers, Safeco, Liberty Mutual, and several other companies as well. Give me a call. Hey, if you already have them and you want me to be their agent, your agent, give me a call, send me a text. I'll take care of it, and I will do what's called a broker change of record form. I become your agent. 210-508-0369. 210-508-0369.
You know, one thing that we're going to have to address and talk about have been some of these upsets, man, like we're talking about in the NBA. We haven't really gone in depth about it, but this is something that I think we need to kind of talk about here. It's the first time in NBA history all four road teams have won a game one of the conference semifinals, where you have the Pacers besting the Cavs, the Knicks besting the Celtics, which was another great come-from-behind win. The best one that I've seen so far, I think, was the Knicks one, but the Pacers is tied for that one. The
Nuggets comeback was great, too.
Nuggets comeback was great, too, but that's more on the Thunder, just kind of just pissing it away. Same thing, well, with the Warriors and the Timberwolves, that wasn't even close. That was just the Warriors dominating from the get-go, man. They came out the gate, and they just dominated the whole game, and the Timberwolves were never able to get back in it.
The most surprising, though, to me, if you could put that graphic back up, Joe.
Yeah, I'll put it back up.
Was the Celtics losing? Because we talk about, you need to have experience and whatnot. Boston has all the experience in the world, and they lost to a Knicks team that has less experience. And I know the Knicks have some veteran presence there, but at the same time, that was very, very surprising. And last night, for the Cavaliers to lose a 7-point lead in the last minute and 5 seconds was just crazy, Joe. Everything wrong that could have happened, and it was so stupid, Joe. From Indiana, when's the last time you saw a free throw shooter get their own rebound? Right? We're talking about missed free throws, not blocking out, bad passes. Dude, the announcer down the stretch when there was this last there was an offensive foul, this bad pass on an inbounds play. When you have the announcer, when the ball's in the air going, oh no, that's how bad of a pass it was. Tyrese Halliburton knocks down a three-pointer with a second to go to win the game. Brutal, man. Cavaliers down 0-2 and now having to go on the road.
The Cavs were the biggest frauds in the NBA right now because they went on to have a great regular season. Regular season wins don't mean shit unless you can get it done in the postseason.
Right.
The Cavs are frauds, man. You know what?
It's sad to see.
It's
sad to see.
It's not. It's not sad to see. It was expected because the Pacers, nobody gave them a shot to win this series.
There was no respect for them.
And I said the Pacers are going to best the Cavs because they're more physical. And they have, to me, they just play better as a team. And they're well coached. Who can forget Rick Carlisle?
Wait a minute.
They're well coached.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that they play well as a team because maybe they've played together for a while?
They played together, but
no.
No,
You
no.
know,
This is
earlier
the
you
other
were
thing
saying
that I'm
that Fox and
telling you.
Wemby sucked,
No, I
even though
said
they
they're
hadn't played
soft.
each other.
I
They hadn't
said
played
they're
with each other.
soft. I said they're soft. The opposite of what the Pacers are.
But Siakam, Neesmith, Turner, Nembhard, Halliburton, they played with each other for a little while.
They played with each other. The Spurs have had some players that have been on the team for a while, but every time they have an opportunity to do something and they get punched in the mouth, they're going to roll over and show their bellies.
Do you know what the Pacers have?
They got some balls.
The Pacers have 9 good players. No, I don't see anybody on this team as great.
No.
Pascal Siakam, I mean, he's been better in years past. Tyrese Halliburton, he is an all-star, but it's just one of those things where I look at this team and I think to myself, none of these guys suck. They're just all above average. And they're putting it together. They beat the Cavaliers. The Pacers didn't suck. They were 50-32. They were a 50-win team. Cavaliers were 64-18. The Cavaliers had only lost 7 games all season long and lost back-to-back games at home. I hate to say that they choked it away because they did choke it away. We always ask the question, did they choke or did the other team steal it? It was simultaneous. Cavaliers choked, Pacers stole it. Because you knock down that three-pointer, you get that rebound, you play good defense on an inbounds pass, you get an offensive foul, you draw an offensive foul. All of that happened in a minute 5, Joe. In a minute 5. And it wasn't like Cleveland was missing free throws. Cleveland was knocking them down. They just got an offensive foul, a turnover, missed shot, bad rebounding.
Look at this, man.
To walk out of that arena stunned like that was ridiculous.
I believe it was Fernandez and also Mario Cavazos. They're saying that our boy Tex-Mex Frank has a new cap out, and it says Texas Chica.
Oh, dude. Can she model it?
Got to get one for Chica.
Yeah.
I need to get one and send it over to my sister-in-law because she always loves everything from Texas.
Joe, can I tell you something that happened with me and Chica over the weekend?
What happened?
We went to Miami and Key West to go hang out with our daughter who goes to college over there.
You see some weird stuff?
Oh, dude. No. Oh, dude. I got to tell you something about that. So we go to Key West, right?
Yeah.
So the first day that we were out there, we couldn't go because we were on the runway for 3 hours.
Oh,
and then
delay.
they canceled the flight.
What was that, thunderstorm?
It was a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
So then we ended up leaving the next morning. We get to Key West, and we want to go to the beach. And you know how I say this about Texas beaches, right? You go to like Port A or JP
Rockport.
Luby. Dude, you'll never catch me at JP Luby Surf Park, right? You'll never catch me there, or Bob Hall Pier, right? Sorry. As you like to say about concerts, I don't want to hang out with a what?
The peasants.
There you go.
Why don't you say it? Just say it with your chest out.
So whenever I go there to that side of Corpus, I go to the Padre Island National Seashore, right?
Okay. Pins.
That is, JP Luby is you go over the bridge from Corpus into Padre Island.
Yeah.
If you keep going down about 15 miles past the normal beaches that everyone's at, there's a state park. You pay a few bucks to get in,
Yeah.
and there's fewer people there.
Yeah, it's just like Mustang Island. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we go over there, and we go to a gas station. We ask the people working at the Circle K, hey, what's the best beach here at Key West? Because there's like 10 of them. And they said, oh, well, it's these two. I was like, okay, but they go, but this one charges. And I was like, that's the one we're going to. So we went out there. It was kind of like Padre Island National Seashore. It was a state park. Dude, it was nice because there was like not a lot of people there. The beach was beautiful. It costs $2 per person to get in.
That's it. That's cheap, dude.
Not a carload. It's $2. Did I come we got 4 people? $8. I was like, here's my card. And it reminded me of what we said about Fiesta.
Jeez, bro.
Just charge an entry fee
Price them out.
and price people out, and nobody will go. That's why there's all that trouble, all that crap that goes on at Market Square.
Pinche Edgars are going to show up
All-
for gratis.
Oh, yeah. It's free, and there's music, and I can pregame at home.
You know they're going to do a couple of lines. They're going to smoke some weed. They're going to get all pedos, and then they're going to show
Right.
up, Saca la bolsita.
Sam Salinas out and says, pins, baby. I had never heard Padre Island National Seashore being called that. That's cool. We have a chat coming in saying from Rafa saying Galveston Beach has agua de caca. I agree.
He's not lying, dude.
Dude, the fish that I caught out there looked like it was like the Simpsons, like Homer Simpson would catch it. Dude, I need to blow my nose bad. My allergies are flaring up.
Let's see what we have for you.
So tonight in the NBA, as you give me some tissues here, we've got two games: Knicks and Celtics, Thunder and Nuggets, both home teams down 0-1. Joe, I'm looking at this right now. I cannot see the Celtics going down 0-2. Just can't see it. And I don't think that Knicks team is that good to be honest with you, to begin with.
Yeah.
Thunder better get their act together. Because if you told me that the Thunder are going to come back and win this in 6, I would believe you. If you told me that the Nuggets were going to come back and steal this game and go and win it in 5, I'd believe you. This is a evenly matched team lineups because no one can guard Jokic. Joe, we didn't talk about Nikola Jokic, and I want Spurs fans to close their ears.
Oh God.
Spurs fans don't want to hear this, and a lot of people who are talking heads in the NBA don't want to hear this because there's a bias towards international players. When you ask who are the top 10 players in the NBA, the only international player that is there Olajuwon, we're off here. It's probably Hakeem Olajuwon, who's from Nigeria, right? Dirk Nowitzki's up there.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic has to be considered one of the 20 best players in the NBA of all time. Now, he's putting up some Moses Malone, Wilt Chamberlain-like numbers these days. Do you think Nikola Jokic will ever get the love that he deserves for what he's doing? And I know they're saying, oh, well, it's a different time and it's softer and all that stuff. But when it's all said and done, what he's going to accomplish as a career, his numbers are going to be ridiculous when it's all said and done. He's just 30, Joe. He was a second-round draft pick in 2014. Yeah. Second-round draft pick. He is an NBA champion, a 3-time MVP, won back-to-back MVPs, 7-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA first team, 2-time All-NBA second team. He made the All-Rookie team. He was the 4-time Serbian Player of the Year. Won the Serbian MVP as well. Yeah. Joe, this guy's going to put up a number that is going to be astronomical.
He's going to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame, no doubt, at the end of the day. I don't know how many chips he's going to have, but I would assume that it's going to be at least a couple more, at least maybe 1 or 2 more added to what he already has. I think Jokic, when you look at him at the end of the day, he's kind of a, and I don't want to, disrespect the great Arvydas Sabonis, but he's kind of like a modern day Arvydas Sabonis in a way because he is one of the best passing big men that the NBA has right now.
Well, right. Sabonis had bad feet, though. Sabonis couldn't do much of anything other than...
He was too late.
He was old. You're right. Yeah. You're right. But I'm looking at like Jokic right now, like where he is in history. He's 124th all time in points scored. Right? He's at 16,200 points. Just to kind of give you an understanding of where he is. He's where James Worthy was. James Worthy had a longer career, right? Nikola Jokic, when it's all said and done, if he finishes his career with 30,000 points, which is very possible, he'll be in the top 10 of all time. Is Nikola Jokic a better big man than Shaq?
I'd say as far as their skill set, it's different in the way that they approach the game because Shaq was more of a power player, living in the paint. And he knew that was his strong suit, and there's nothing wrong with that. He knew his strength, and he played it well. Jokic is more of a versatile player than Shaq was.
Yeah. Sam reaches out and says, it's not bias, Mike. It's what I've been screaming from the top of my hill for a long time now. American basketball now is ass. And the current superstars right now are mostly foreign-born now. We're going to have to show some love for Nikola Jokic when it's all said and done. I think the biggest disrespect was when he won the MVP that one time, and Shaq and Barkley told me he didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Like, who are they to say that? Nikola Jokic is putting up numbers that we've never seen before from a big man. And with all due respect to the David Robinsons, the Hakeem Olajuwons, the Shaquille O'Neals, he better. He's better.
You know, I was gonna shout out our boy.
You know what? I already see this. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs is going to be like, did Jimenez just say that Nikola Jokic is better than David Robinson? Yeah, he is.
I was gonna shout out our boy here, Bear County Social Apparel. He's putting out some bangers right now. Look at that Coach Pop shirt he put out.
I like
That's
it.
great. El Jefe, President of Basketball Operations. Thanks for everything, Coach Pop. He's putting out some bangers right now. Not only did he put that out, but he also had some other designs that I thought were pretty cool. In that same style, you have, Castle in Rookie of the Year. And then you had another one here that he just put out right now. It says the GOAT, Manu. El Jefe's bodyguard, a.k.a. future head coach. And he has Manu there in that same style as the GOAT.
Now, Mike does a fantastic job. And, there are a lot of Spurs fans out there who think that, Manu or Tony Parker or Duncan would want to make a good coach. My thing about it is why would they ever want to coach? Like the idea of they don't need to. Tony Parker is out right now getting banged. He's getting laid like crazy right now in France. He's racking up ass right now because he is. He's a cochino. More power to him. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying, there's a certain mindset that it takes to be an NBA head coach, and you could see it, Joe. Back in the day, we would see Jason Kidd, we would see Chauncey Billups. We go, man, those guys look like coaches. And guess what? They are coaches. Manu's not going to be head coach, not because he's out banging chicks, because Manu's enjoying life.
Maybe he doesn't want to. He's enjoying life. He's enjoying
life.
Spending time with his family right now.
That's funny, dude. That's funny. Let's show some love to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5, providing your daily Spurs coverage.
Yeah. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@LockedOnSpurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
That's right. More than 7,000 subscribers on YouTube right now. Does a fantastic job. He has stories about today. What's he got going on today? I saw that he had one about Kawhi Leonard saying nice things about Coach Pop. What are your thoughts of Kawhi going off and saying nice things about Pop as Pop exits stage left and he's no longer the head coach of the Spurs?
I don't know, man. Coach Pop and Kawhi had a good relationship, I would think. Unfortunately, you look at it in hindsight, and the bag was dropped. Right. And I don't know if you want to put it all on Pop. It was the organization, but basically all they had to say is just Pop could have just come out and say, look, Kawhi has an injury. He's not coming back. That would have been the end of it. Who knows? He would have stayed with the team, probably still wanted out, but that would have been the end of it. But they let it go on. Other than that, Kawhi and Coach Pop, they had a great relationship, I think. There's a lot of admiration there on both sides. Even when Kawhi had left and he went on to go with the Toronto Raptors, and then he left them and he went to go play with the Clippers, they would still embrace, say nice things about one another. Coach Pop would check on Kawhi and vice versa. So they still have a good relationship, I would think.
I think it was water under the bridge.
Yeah,
they were mad at each other for a while, but time has passed.
They made up. It didn't last very long. Whatever happened, it just, they made up, and he wished him well, and there you go. Rest was history.
So Jeff Garcia has articles about how there's going to be camps being held by Keldon Johnson. So if you have kids who want to take part in any camps, go to Jeff G. Spurs on Twitter and on Threads for that, or Kens5.com. He also has an article about how the Spurs worked out a player named L.J. Cryer, who I have his photo up right now. L.J. Cryer was a point guard for the Houston Cougars. Averaged 16 points and 2 rebounds and 2 assists for the Houston Cougars. He's from Katy, Texas. So the Spurs right now conducting the interviews, looking for potential players in the second round. LJ Cryer is not going to be a first-round pick, but maybe it's somebody for the Austin Spurs, for example. But the NBA Combine is coming up, Joe. How excited are you about the Combine for the NBA? Because I look at it this way. The Combine is May 11th through the 18th. So what is that? That is today is what? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Wednesday.
Saturday, Sunday. Starts Sunday, goes throughout the entire week.
Tuesday, I believe, was it on a Tuesday? I think it's when they're going to have the NBA draft lottery.
The lottery's on Tuesday,
Yeah.
correct. But the Combine will have already started on the 11th. It goes to the 11th to the 18th. It's over in Chicago at the Marriott Marquis Hotel.
You know, that's the thing about Chicago, man. Chicago is one of these places where you kind of you got to watch where you're going, man.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully everything's safe, you know, and nothing will happen. There's going to be no shootings
Well,
nearby, any of this kind of stuff,
the-
because
the-
people go to visit with their families.
The Chicago is interesting, man, because I've said this about Chicago. I've gone to Chicago several times.
Yeah.
To me, San Antonio and Austin are like Chicago if we were to combine the two. You have the uppity, more affluent side, and then you have the working class side. You have the north side versus the south side.
Just like San Antonio, man.
Just like San Antonio in many ways. The north side has the money, has the downtown, has the Navy Pier, has all that stuff, has Rush Street, Wrigley Field, all that stuff. The north siders love the Cubs. The south siders are about the White Sox. South siders are about industrial manufacturing. They're blue collar, and that's how Chicago is. And unfortunately, the blue collar area over there is the one side of town that gets the shootings. And when you see the news about Chicago violence and all that, it typically is that side of town.
I'm getting notifications they already have players working out at the NBA Combine right now.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
It's taking place in Chicago at the arena over there. So fantastic. We have to give some love to MCS General Contracting. They power the chat over here. They've been with us since day one. We love them. That Diamond Heart Concrete.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
General Contracting with that BBD, that big black Diamond Heart Concrete, doing a fantastic job. There's that number, 210-774-9155. 210-774-9155. They do it right the first time, man. They say it's not the cheapest, but it's the best value. They do it right the first time. I've had them work at one of my houses before. Did an amazing job. I can attest to them to do a fantastic job. So whether 774-9155.
I don't know what's going on here. We're having some problems with, I don't know if it's the computer. I think what's going on is that I'm going to need a better processor. I think this processor is reaching the end of life. So I'm going to have to get me a new AMD Ryzen, probably 7 or something.
Right.
Yeah, I got to buy one. I also got to get a new headphone amplifier. And it's like, I guess I don't really realize, like, doing this show and like how technical it gets and how much resources we're using to do all this stuff. At the end of the day, it's like we put a lot of strain on the equipment. So
yeah,
all
do.
the super chat money is going to go to the equipment.
There you go. Yeah, we're not pocketing this money. We reinvest it within the business, within the podcast itself. TMZ Sports is reporting right now that Tom Brady says he's saying it over and over again. If you want to show my screen, he's regretting doing the Comedy Central roast last year. It's been 1 year since he got roasted by celebrities, by comedians, by actors, and former teammates. And he says that his kids have come up to him and asked the question, what was the point of that? Tom Brady, who is being made fun of because of his eating habits, because his wife left him.
Yeah.
Because of he's lost his kids and lost custody of his kids. And Giselle Bundchen, supermodel, left him for one of her trainers, personal trainers. Going off and saying in retrospect, he would never have done it. That he shouldn't have done it. It was funny, but it was brutally funny. Funny, not in a ha-ha way, but funny in a do they really go that way kind of way. But Tom Brady feeling the effects. Hey, I have a poll on Twitter at MJ Acquired Taste asking the question. It's midnight in San Antonio. You want to go get some tacos in ya. Where do you go? Because again, I'm not saying these are the best places to get tacos in San Antonio. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's after midnight, right? Because the taquerias are all closed, right? Tacos Martinez on the west side is closed. Don Pedro's on the south side is closed. Rolando Super Taco is closed. All these places around town closed. Garcia's, all of that closed. It's midnight. You're driving around town. You want some tacos. Where are you going? The choices are Chacho's, Las Palapas, Mama Margie's, or Taco Palenque. Joe, which one do you choose?
I'm going to vote right now. Chacho's, Las Palapas, Mama Margie's, Taco Palenque. How do you say it?
Palenque.
Palenque. I'm going to go with Chacho's for the win for me. The King Kong nachos at Chacho's are top tier, bro.
Dude, but we're going for tacos, though. Oh, but then again, you
man.
go for nachos. That's fine.
I'll go
fair
for
enough.
nachos.
Fair enough. Because I asked the question, where should go to for a Mexican restaurant?
Yeah.
Fair enough. The King Kong
Mama
nachos.
Margie's is good, too. I'm not going to lie.
That's what we did last night.
Yeah.
Because my girl was like, Chica was like, oh, we're going to Las Palapas again? Because it's right next to my sister's house. And I was like, well, we can go do something different. Let's go to Mama Margie's. And we went to the one in Alamo Ranch. And right now, 37.3%. So 37% saying Mama Margie's, 33% saying Taco Palenque, 17% Las Palapas, 13% Chacho's. Dude, those King Kong nachos, dude, they would run through my stomach and tear me a new one for like 5 days.
All the grease and that thick ass cheese they put on there. And all that. Yeah. You know where you should take, Chica, that's around the area? Viola Ventanas.
Dude, that's a good place. It's expensive, though.
It's nice.
So we have a comment from Mike at Powerline Punk saying, can't beat the warm salsa from Mama Margie's, but any of those are great choices, he says. Mario Cavasso says, nah, bruh, not eating after midnight. Let's see here. John Dyer. Coming out.
King Kong, man.
Spurs and Salsa says, King Kong nachos can feed the crew back in the day, but all the hotties went to Mama Margie's on I-10. Dude, why did Mama Margie's always not have AC? It was always like 105 degrees in that place.
That place, dude. I don't know. You know, I used to go to the Mama Margie's that they used to have over there when I worked at USAA back in the day. On Fridays, I would go over there in the morning early.
Yeah.
And before I would go into work, and I would go and buy me the huevos rancheros plate, and I would get it, and I would go and sit at my cubicle, and I'd be there eating like 30 minutes before my shift. Like, man, this is good, you know.
Yeah. Dude, Sam with a good comment right there. Take her to El Chaparral, Mike.
All right.
That's I think where we're gonna go today for lunch. I'll try to be out there by about 1:30 or so. Chica and I are looking for property. We're looking for a place to call home, and I don't know where we're gonna go, but we're looking at Helotes today.
Elotes.
Checking out some place in Corn, Texas.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what, dude. Look at Fernandez says, can't go wrong with Mama Margie's.
True.
Though. That's true. I got to tell you, man.
Street tacos on the move. Dude, Jeff Garcia and I, we go get a few too many drinks in us. We hit up the taco trucks downtown.
They're pretty good, man.
Badass.
I was going to say the best place to go if they kind of want to be out on the outskirts but not too far, right off of Culebra, dude. Like going out there past 1604.
Uh-huh.
You know, like, of course, you're going over here by Helotes and all that. That's a good area, too.
It is. The traffic's a little bit weird.
Yeah, it is.
You know what? I want a view, though, man. You know, this might be our final home. This could be our final home.
The Texas Hill Country further out there.
Right, further out there. That's what we're looking for there. She can get a job anywhere. She's a dental hygienist, so
Yeah.
she can get a job anywhere. Joe, Dallas Cowboys traded for George Pickens. The deal now made official. According to Todd Archer of ESPN.com, saying the Dallas Cowboys search for a number 2 wide receiver opposite CeeDee Lamb has landed him with George Pickens. The deal sends the Cowboys a 6th-round pick as well, but the Cowboys dish out a 2026 3rd-round pick and a 2027 5th-rounder to the Steelers. It could be a 1-year rental because George Pickens is in the final year of his deal. ESPN is reporting that the Cowboys would have picked Ted McMillan if he was available in the 1st round, but the Arizona star wide receiver ended up going to the Carolina Panthers. At least they had a backup plan, I guess what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, our listeners are saying, and people on Twitter, on my poll, saying that they like this. RJ Ochoa, Blogging the Boys, says he likes it short, or he says he doesn't like it at all because he thinks it's too much draft capital. But again, if he does bounce, Cowboys do get potentially a compensatory pick at the end of the 4th round in a couple of years.
I would like to get RJ Ochoa on the show one time just to kind of ask him some questions.
I could try to make that happen. I'll give him a call.
Because he seems like he's always he's a bit jaded at times with the Cowboys, as every fan is, because sometimes they just make the wrong moves. But right now in this offseason, they've been making better moves to try to go ahead and make the team more competitive, which is what you want to see.
Right.
You know, in seasons past, they haven't really done much of anything.
You know, the first person I ever did a show with in radio was RJ.
Yeah.
And it was RJ and Pledger. And I could not find a way in. I was nervous. I didn't know how to jump in.
Yeah.
And, man, RJ and I had bad shows for a couple of weeks. And there was one time it was me and him doing a show. And I said something that made him laugh. And it was the funniest thing ever because the way he laughed was like, and then he got louder and louder and louder. And then he lost it. Like, I don't even remember what I said. But at that point, I felt comfortable being with him because I made him laugh. Yeah. And it was a joke that was kind of like it wasn't a funny haha joke. It was like it made you think. RJ Ochoa is very cerebral. He does a fantastic job. Love the guy. He does a fantastic job. He's a great father, great man. And I would love to have him on this show. He does a good job.
Yeah. You know who else we need to get on the show too? Definitely. We need to have like a fan episode where we go ahead and bring some diehard Cowboy fans on.
Yeah.
And one of those fans definitely is going to have to be Elias.
Yeah.
Because Elias has been a diehard Spurs fan and a diehard Cowboy fan. And he needs to come out on the show so we can talk to him, pick his brain a bit.
He's on our Twitter right now. No, our Twitter, on our text thread right now. Our personal texts on our cell phones going off on it. Excited for the Cowboys. But, Joe, I have to take off. Got to get back to work, my man. Got an 11:45 minute I need to jet off to. Thank you so much, everyone. I will say this, by the way, before we go. Yesterday was the most watched podcast that we had on all our platforms combined in about 4 months.
Pretty good.
And guess what? The show before that was the most watched show that we had on our platform in about 4 months.
I think it was on a Monday show. We had DJ LG.
Yeah.
I had LG on Monday and Jeff Garcia.
We've got a good thing going. I have to take off and go to my meeting. But, Joe, I'll be back tomorrow.
Yep. We'll see you boys tomorrow.
See ya.
Peace.